People have wanted to help their loved ones even after death. Ancient pagan civilizations made offerings to the gods to ensure a safe travel and a beautiful final resting place. Just think of the pyramids. But what comes to mind in the Catholic faith is displayed by the request of St. Augustine's mother, that after she had completed her earthly mission, she wanted to be remembered at the altar of Jesus. Yesterday's celebration of All Saints' Day and what Father Gilson preached about is the reminder of the goal of every Christian to one day make it to heaven, and the recognition that with God it's possible. We see in the saints those who have lived heroic lives of virtue and holiness. We see men and women and even children who, like us, in the sense of needing to wrestle with our imperfections, have overcome it through the grace of God and their sole determination to please God and to love those that God places in their lives. Today we remember all those who have gone before us. And in faith and hope, we do what St. Augustine's mother, St. Monica, asked of her son. We offer Mass, we come to Mass, and we pray for their souls. Today's first reading reminded me of a reoccurring theme that has happened to me as a priest, where I've tried to convince a grieving loved one, as we picked out the readings for the funeral Mass, that the Old Testament actually has readings that are hope-filled, that it's not just depressing, and yet offers hope. And sure enough, what we heard in our first reading from the Book of Wisdom truly does give hope, for it says that the souls of the just seem to be dead. They seem to be afflicted and destroyed, but in reality, they're in peace, and their hope is full of immortality. Though they may have been chastened or tested by God, they shall be greatly blessed. As Catholic Christians, we believe that all but a small few will need a time of preparation after we leave this earth. We'll need a time of final purification before they and we can spend eternity with God and the saints and the angels. My brothers and sisters, what we do today is what we did on the day of the funeral Mass for our loved ones. And in a special way of generosity, what we do for all the deceased. And that is to offer our prayers, our spiritual sacrifice in assistance in this time of final preparation. Yesterday, I read a reflection by a Jesuit who's gone home to God, Father Don Driscoll. And he said he remembers a verse that his father used to recite, that his own father had seen on a tombstone. And this is what it said: "Remember me as you pass by. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, one day you'll be. So stop and say a prayer for me." We of Irish descent usually handle the concept of mortality in two ways. One is we pretend it doesn't apply to us. It happens to other people. And the other is that we sing sad songs about it and get very depressed. But in this short verse, we're reminded of how our earthly death is the beautiful and the necessary passage to life, to a life that we all deeply desire, to be with God, and to be with our loved ones in heaven. And in that verse, it also tells us that we can do something for our loved ones and those of others as we pray for their final journey home to God. My brothers and sisters, there is nothing more important than we can do for them today. For it allows us to remain in spiritual contact, to keep alive our relationships of those who have gone before us, so that one day, God, we can be together. And what a beautiful thing to imagine today as we celebrate heaven on earth during this Mass, to know that we are in spiritual communion with all those we love, and that we, in a sense, as we pray for them and their journey, we too journey to that beautiful final reunion in the presence of God. May God bless you all this beautiful and holy day.